Howdy there! My name is Zachary, also known as Horse Online, and I thought it partly my duty to assist in the collective education of the world, as hundreds of thousands of people do on a daily basis, with anything you could think of. And seeing as my viewer base is primarily overseas, I thought it would be a great opportunity for me on this channel to make a short educational video with some visuals on what Memorial Day is, where it came from, and what it represents in the modern day. So I suppose we'll start with what it is. Memorial Day is a federal holiday in the United States, observed on the last Monday of every May of every year. A federal holiday simply means that government agencies don't operate on that day. That also includes stuff like banks, some corporations, etc. So for many folks that aren't working retail specifically, Memorial Day is a day off for them, including me, because I work at a bank. Memorial Day in particular, of all the holidays in the US, is one of the more somber ones that we have. Memorial Day is a day of remembrance, a day of mourning, a day of honoring those who have lost their lives in the US military over the last 100 years. Well, last couple hundred years, actually. It is customary for folks to visit different cemeteries and adorn the gravestones of those who have served with flowers, flags, photos, etc. Some folks partake in other activities as well, such as volunteer work, fundraising, barbecues, or the most prolific thing you'll see on any Memorial Day on any year, parades, which are probably the most common for Memorial Day of all the holidays that we have. It is so extremely common for any local fire department, police agency, local organizations to get all dressed up in ceremonial garb and march down your local street, banging drums, carrying flags, and honking their horns in their fire trucks as well. For some people, Memorial Day is just a parade in their hometown. Like me, maybe. But for others, Memorial Day is a day that means so much more. More than you could ever know if you're not in their position. You see, for me, I do have a grandfather who served. I have other family members who served, and the grandfather has passed. So for me, Memorial Day is visiting his grave. For others, Memorial Day might just be watching a parade out through your window. For those who served, Memorial Day might be a day of remembrance for those that were side by side with you before they met their untimely end. There's a lot to think about. Or if you live on a mountain like me, you'll also see various thingamabobs and gajamahoobs in the parade as well. Machines that have no business running in 2025, but are grinding down the street, slide whistle and belts in tow. just putting along. So now that we know what Memorial Day is, let's discuss how Memorial Day came about. It was May 30th, 1868, when the Commander-in-Chief, John A. Logan, proclaimed the day to be Decoration Day, to honor Union soldiers who had lost their lives in the Civil War a few years earlier, which had ended on April 9th, 1865. This was a grand gesture on a governmental level from the Commander-in-Chief himself, but many local observances of similar holidays had been observed for the last 3 years post the Civil War ending, leading to, down the road, a lot of places being very contentious on who really started Memorial Day. Stuff like Flag Day, Remembrance Day, Victory Day, you name it, had been celebrated on a local level somewhere in the US. However, the National Cemetery Administration, which itself is a division of the Department of Veterans Affairs, credits Mary Ann Williams, who I'll put a picture on the screen if I can find him, whatever, as the lady who originated the idea of strewing the graves of Union soldiers and Confederate soldiers as well with flowers. In fact, my home state of New York is credited as the first state to fully adopt Decoration Day as a holiday in 1873. But by 1890, every state that had been in the Union during the Civil War had adopted the holiday. For years, Decoration Day remained as a symbol of a bygone Civil War, but after the First and Second World Wars, it became a much larger day with a lot more symbolism than it had previously. Seeing as the day had grown so much larger in scope than it ever thought possible, seeing as nobody expects two world wars to happen among other several wars, U.S. Congress stepped in 1968 to officially rename the holiday to Memorial Day and set its official observance to the last Monday of every May of every year. Nowadays, they would shift the focus of Memorial Day from just Union soldiers to also include all U.S. forces that had ever served throughout the history of our wonderful country. Nowadays, in 2025, Memorial Day sits alongside Veterans Day and Armed Forces Day as the triad of military remembrance in the public consciousness. Now, lastly, let's discuss what Memorial Day means today. This is more of an opinion or thought piece because Memorial Day, like any other holiday from any country anywhere in the world, means different things to different people. Regardless of what it says on a Wikipedia article, it means something else to you. For your average American citizen, Memorial Day is a day off from work. Take your kids outside, get some ice cream, observe a parade coming through your local town. That is Memorial Day for your average American citizen. For those outside the U.S., Memorial Day probably means very little. It is a U.S. holiday specifically, although obviously every country in the world probably has some variants of their own Memorial Day to celebrate those who have served in their own militaries, respectively. Sound off in the comments if your particular country or nation has their own celebration days and tell me about them along with some of your stories. I would love to read them. But while Memorial Day is a simple day off with a parade and some ice cream or swimming or a picnic for your average American citizen, for those with family or friends who have served in the military and lost their lives, Memorial Day is so much more. It's a constant reminder of those who used to stand alongside you. It's a day of memories and remembrance. It's a day of honoring. It's a day of celebration of life once lived. It's very common for the families of these service members to gather up and go visit cemeteries together or by themselves, and to not only clean up the gravestones, but to adorn them with flags, flowers, photos, etc. Many documenting the experience online so that they can share a bit of their grief with other people. But for those who served themselves, Memorial Day is probably one of the worst days you've lived in your year. It serves as a constant reminder of those who you fought alongside with and lost, some before your very eyes. It's extremely common if you visit a large cemetery on Memorial Day to find a military-aged man or woman alone, kneeling in front of a gravestone, grieving those that they fought alongside. Those that made it home in an urn, unlike them. For me, ironically, Memorial Day isn't just about those who we've lost in the past, but those who we have now. Those military members, those veterans who came home and essentially were abandoned. There are more homeless veterans every year. There are more jobless veterans every year. The health care of these veterans, which is not cheap and is completely necessary, is very difficult to attain. The mental scars from war never leave a person. The physical scars, even more so. Folks have lost organs, lost limbs, they have permanent nerve damage, they've lost eyesight, hearing. Anything you can think of on a physical level, these poor souls are coming home with. But beyond that, there's even the mental scars of PTSD and several other ailments that afflict these people, and it is so difficult to not only afford the care that you need, but to get the care that you need. Anybody who's worked with the VA knows that it's not a pleasant experience, and they'll do anything they can to pass you some Tylenol and send you on your way. These people need your help. You don't need to throw your whole life away to help them. They don't even want that. Many of these people don't want help from individuals like us, they want help from their government that isn't helping them, and they should be getting that help, but we can still do something. Look at your local resources, do a little research, donate to a local organization that's helping these vets. There's so much that could be done without you needing to disrupt your life. But even if you don't want to do that, there are some of you, I'm sure, that would love to disrupt your life a little bit to help somebody in need. There are local resources to volunteer your time. There are local resources to donate goods, donate crafts, donate clothes. There's so much you could do. So, it breaks my heart to think about somebody who fought for me to have the freedoms I have in my everyday life, to sit in front of this camera and tell you about Memorial Day. I am allowed to do this with the freedom of speech I have and the freedom of my life and my time that I have because of those who have lost their lives fighting for my life. And your life, for that matter. There are strangers in your community who have fought and died for you. Even if you don't do anything to help those who survived them, you can still think about them today and take the lesson that they give you with their death into your normal day to live your life to the fullest and do what you want to do, which for me today was making a short educational video because I see that I have a lot of friends and fans overseas, and even if only 10 of you watch this, that's 10 more people that were slightly more educated by some guy on the internet. But that's all I am, some guy on the internet. So who am I to say what you should do with your life? You have freedom because of those we remember today. And I would never take that away from you. So I hope you found this a little more enriching. Thank you to the members and patrons who keep my channel alive. And stay blessed, everybody. I appreciate your time. Happy Memorial Day.